Aloha. Welcome to Psychic Development and Channeling Class 5 with Liah Howard. Thank you so much for being here. Just want to let you know that there's a little chat box on the right side there if you want to ask any questions or make comments, and you can put them towards me, Liah Howard, instead of everybody that's online getting them. So today we are going to be discussing balancing the left and right brain to access higher frequencies. And that's going to be a really fun topic to go over. Before we do that, this is just a note about the text box. So you'll be clicking on to presenter only or Liah Howard when you want to make comments to me. Today we're going to be answering some questions. I really appreciate it when you take the time in between to send me some questions. I know you're participating, and I'm happy to answer them for you. So we're going to be answering a few questions. We'll be reviewing what the homework assignments were. We will be discussing the left and right brain today and balancing the flow, synchronization. We'll be doing a guided meditation, which is always my favorite part, and then going over the homework for our next class. So today is the 5th class. There are 20 classes in this series, and this is the end of level 1. So you will have completed level 1 if you have done all these classes today. All right, so the first question we have is that it says, you mentioned we should walk or do yoga daily, but what if it is hard to do it physically? So if you don't have the physical ability to walk or do yoga, it's really, really important that you ground. We did work with the grounding cord because you want your body to be attuned. As we talked about last time, class 2, we talked about the body cues. You want your body to be able to bring in this higher frequency of energy. So if there's a way that you can stretch, if there's a way that you can really bring your focus into your physical body, even, opening, shutting the hands, feeling your hands, tensing and relaxing the feet, bringing relaxation and tighten, release, and all the way up the body, so that you're bringing your awareness to your body. And that will help you to tune more into your intuition because it does come through your body. Okay. Question number 2, what would you suggest if I get tired while I'm trying to meditate? This is a great question because sometimes what happens is your body's actually already tired, and then when you slow down enough to meditate, you realize how tired you are. You had kind of been disconnected from it. So first of all, you want to make sure that you are as rested as possible. And I know people have different situations, work schedules, children, and things of that nature. But indeed, to get as much sleep as you possibly can. And then if you find yourself really getting tired and you're doing a meditation, you might want to just stop, and you could do a few jumping jacks. You could get your energy moving, have a cup of tea. You could do this little song. I'm awake, alive, alert, and enthusiastic. I am awake, alive, alert, and enthusiastic. I'm awake and alive, and awake, alive, alert, and enthusiastic. Or any variation thereof, but you want to get your mind going in a more positive direction instead of that sleepy. Definitely do not meditate in your bed. And it's not a good idea to lay down when you meditate, because when you do that, your body thinks you're going to sleep. So sit up as straight as you can. I'll try to model that. Sit up as straight as you can with your spine erect. Remember that string that pulls your head up? Deep breaths will help oxygenate your body. Deep breaths will help get you awake. So you can also rub your hands together like this. Get a nice frequency of energy and pat them on your head, your body. Wake up, 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 wake up. Okay, you awake? All right. I am having trouble getting symbols or pictures from my guides. Any suggestions? Well, we have talked about the different modalities of receiving information. And if you are a visual person, it's much easier for you to receive information. You may be auditory, kinesthetic, clairsentient instead. So if you're not getting clear pictures or symbols, what I'd like you to do is, remember I talked to you about that dream book by Betty Bethards? That dream book has a number of symbols in there, and I'd like you to work with some of these symbols, practicing with the symbols, and actually getting the whiteboard. Remember we talked about the whiteboard, clearing the whiteboard, picturing a symbol on the whiteboard. So let's say your first symbol is bells. little bells, and you see them. And I want you to just keep visualizing them. It will get easier. I worked with this one student. She could not see anything, nothing. She was not visual whatsoever. And then what happened is over time, that ability developed, and it developed really well to where she could do very, very, very detailed readings for people, but she had to tune her frequency in a little bit more. So practice using your visual when you go somewhere. See if you can remember what you saw. See if you can remember a list. Make a list and then write it down and see if you can actually see the list. So practice with getting symbols in everyday life as well. And you will get better at it, I promise. You will get better. Just like with anything, the more you practice, the better you get. So in opening to channel, there was reading page 46 and 47, the brain synchronization and flow. That's about the left and the right brain. Now, I know those of you who have a Kindle, I've gotten some comments that the Kindle doesn't have page numbers. That's always bothered me about Kindle. It has percentages. So that's a little tricky. So this is the right and left brain synchronization and flow. It's towards the beginning of the book. And also on page 122, it was giving yourself a reading. How did it go and what guidance was received? I was curious if you did that for part of your homework and what information you received. And again, if you have a Kindle, you're just going to have to scroll ahead till you get to that basic area. It's called giving yourself a reading. So did anybody want to share how that went? If you did opening to channel, giving yourself a reading, if you got some messages about yourself. I'll give you a minute to type that in. All right. Hope you guys are doing your homework. It really makes a difference when you do your homework. It's an adjunct to what we're doing here in the class. All right, we're going to move along. Also in opening to channel, we have questions of a universal nature and questions of a personal nature. For example, a universal nature was, does every relationship have a purpose? See how that's more generalized? Sometimes those questions are a little easier to answer than the more very, very personal questions, such as, what am I learning in my relationship with? So there was a number of questions on each one of these pages, questions of a universal nature and questions of a personal nature. And what I wanted to suggest to you is that you either work with somebody else or work with a recording where you would tape record the questions and then receive the answers, put a little time in between, or work with 2 tape recorders where you would tape record the question and then you're recording the whole session so that you can go very deeply into your channeling state and get those answers. I'm just going to review a couple of tools. This one is very important, the grounding cord. I went camping in Hana, Maui this weekend, and oh my goodness, I saw a tree that looked exactly like this tree. It was incredible. So trees are very rooted and grounded, and we want to be very, very rooted and grounded to bring in that information and that energy from above. Remember, the more rooted and grounded we are, the more information we can bring in up above. So let's right now send a grounding cord down to the center of the earth. Feel yourself like a big, strong tree. Send a shoot or a shaft of light or a cord or root down and connect. Good. I had given you some affirmations a couple classes ago. I'm just going to review a few of them, and I would like you to go, you could write those affirmations down and you can use them every day. So these are just a few reminders to say to yourself every day, I trust myself. And then you can say that. I trust the universe. I am a clear channel for infinite wisdom and love. My mind is clear and my heart is open. I believe in intuition. All right, so you want to work with those every day. We're retraining the mind so that it's a finely tuned instrument to use in your psychic development. So why do we need to balance and synchronize the left and the right brain hemispheres? Well, one of the reasons is so that we can actually access higher frequencies. It's, if you had some of you have probably driven in Los Angeles, California, and if not, think of a city that you've driven in, and there's 6 lanes of traffic going one way and 6 lanes of traffic going another way. And if there wasn't a divider in the middle, they might all get mixed up. So what happens is it flows really well because it knows where it's going. So what we want to do with synchronizing and balancing the left and the right brain is we actually want to create an opening between, like a doorway. There's already a doorway, but we want to open that doorway. And we want to allow the energies to flow through. So it keeps things in order. So what we're doing is we're receiving information and we're also transmitting at the same time. We also want to be able to communicate. So we're receiving information and we're communicating. The left brain is the one that's communicating, and the right brain is the part of the mind that is actually receiving. So let's look at some of the qualities between the left hemisphere, which rules the right side of the body, and the right hemisphere, which rules the left side of the body. So you may know some older people who have had a stroke, and part of, they may have a stroke on the right side, and their left side, they can't move their left arm, or they can't walk with their left leg because it's the opposite. So you always want to think opposite. So as you're thinking about the masculine and feminine parts of yourself, the left and right brain, the transmitter and the receiver, the right brain is the feminine side. It's the left side of the body. And the left brain is, am I saying that right? The left brain is the right side of the body. The right brain is the left side of the body. The left side is the more feminine. The right side of the body is the more masculine in terms of energy. So the left hemisphere of the brain, which rules the right side of the body, the left hemisphere of the brain is the, most people are right-handed. So if you think about, that's the hand that you write with, that's the hand that you're doing, it's your doing hand. That might help you to remember it. The right hand is the doing hand. It's logical, linear. It works with language and memory. It synthesizes, organizes, and categorizes. And that was from Opening to Channel, that synthesizing, organizing, and categorizing. So it's the part of the brain that's really the thinking part of the brain. Now the other hemisphere, the right hemisphere, that rules the left side of the body, this is the more musical, intuitive, feeling, nonverbal communication, the creativity, inspiration, spontaneity, and artistic. And this part of the body, this part of the brain, and that part of the body, that's the receptive, that's the feminine, that's the soft, that's kind of more spontaneous and flowing, sort of like between time. I like to think when we go into meditation, that's more of the right brain, and when we're praying, that's more of the left brain. We're using our thoughts to create images and words. So to channel intuitive knowing, the translator is the left side of the brain. That's our ability to speak and write and communicate. The receiver is the right side of the brain. That's where we let go and receive, and we're open. So each of us has a main mode that we are in life in terms of how we receive information. Some of us are naturally better at communicating, and some of us are naturally better at feeling. That's just sort of the way it is. The reason I have that figure 8 at the bottom is there's a meditation I would like you to practice right here on your third eye, where you focus on your third eye. So close your eyes for just a minute. Focus on your third eye, and then you're going to bring the energy just like up around one eye, like a figure 8, and then to the center, and then up around the other eye. So a circle around the left eye, a circle around the right eye, and make a figure 8. And what you're doing is you are actually opening that channel of information, a flow of information back and forth and back and forth. So let's do that. I would like you to practice that meditation 3 times, starting in the center in the third eye, up and around the left eye, and then up and over the right eye. Okay. So you should practice that meditation every day. That will help you in opening that. It's sort of like a doorway in between. So here's an exercise that you can do that will help you also to access your right brain, knowing that your more intuitive self. So what you're going to do is you're going to have your journal and get a pen. And I want you to write the question with your dominant hand. So you should have your pen and paper handy right now. So I'd like you to now take out your pen and paper and actually write a question. So let's think about a question that you've been maybe considering. So consider your question. And remember, when we're asking questions, it's a good way to ask to say, is it in my here's a pen and paper, so I'll just show you. Is it in my highest and best interest to, and then you ask your question. Okay, now I'm going to think of my question. You think of yours, get it written. Okay, so now you're going to take your pen in your non-dominant hand. So I'm switching hands, and I know it's a little tricky. I want you to close your eyes. I want you to call on your higher self, that intuitive part of yourself that knows what's best for you. And I'd like you to just put your pen on the paper, and then you may get a yes or no response, and you may get an explanation of the answer. So now ask, is it in my highest and best interest to? Okay, you're getting your question. All right, I got my question answered. So it may be difficult to read initially, but you will get better and better and better at this. It will become a vehicle for you. So even if you're not able to read some of the script because it's a little messy, it's sort of like how children learn to write, hopefully energetically you were receiving that answer as you were writing. And it will get clearer and clearer the more that you do that. So I would like you to practice that exercise this week. So we have many masculine and feminine biases from childhood and just being in our society. So in schools, when we're being raised, we're sort of rewarded for our academic achievements. Those are given a lot of energy. They have spelling bees, and they have debate teams, and there's a lot of reward for the intelligence and the left brain, science fairs and things of that. There's not really many awards for if you're very, very intuitive, if you're very, very feeling, if you're very psychic, if you're very, very flowing, creative, musical, artistic. There's not many awards for that. So in some way, we may be just a little imbalanced just because of the cultures that we live in this particular culture. And sometimes we have some issues from childhood where our feelings were cut off. We may have been in the generation that we were to be seen and not heard. We may have been in a family where feelings were not okay, where just feel happy, don't feel anything else, just feel happy or feel nothing. Or if you have feelings, take them to your room kind of thing, where you're not really allowed to have feelings, which, remember, feelings are the gateway to our intuition. So feelings can be very, very helpful. And again, we have these the bias in society of rewarding careers that with money, the lawyer, the doctor, the accountant, the stockbroker, where we're encouraged to develop our intellect. We're not really encouraged to develop our intuition. Creativity and innovation is not that encouraged in many, many jobs. There's sort of a set way of doing things. This is how you do it from A, B, C, and follow that program and don't change it. So with intuitive work, we're going to be experiencing outside the box. We're going to be getting information outside in a different way from traditional means, and we are going to be using more of our intuitive self, just like people who work with children, counselors, artists, and musicians. They're sort of listening to their own internal rhythms and information. Now, places can be more masculine or feminine. I have a New York skyline here. That's a very, very masculine city. If you haven't been there, there's other cities that are very masculine. Tokyo would be one. Um, Tijuana is another one. Let's see, some more feminine cities would be Maui. There's Maui on the bottom where I live. It's very feminine. I mean, I just, was in the woods with waterfalls and rivers and soft ocean, soft breezes. That's very, very feminine energy. Bali is a very feminine country. Costa Rica is very feminine. They don't even have an army there. That's amazing, huh? So there's that difference in energy of where you live. So you may have been trained just because of the culture that you're in the place that you've grown up in. You know how they say, sorry, New Yorkers, but they say that New Yorkers kind of have a little, I don't know, a little edge to them, I guess. I love you, New Yorkers, by the way. And the buildings that we're in affect us as well in terms of our energy. So we want to be aware of where we are and how we're feeling. Certainly temples and sacred places have more feminine energy, and hotels, hospitals, courtrooms are usually more masculine, very angular. And then the global bias is in the global system, of course, women are in many places second-class citizens. And so when we think about that, these women are all wearing their burqas. When we think about second-class citizens and what that means in terms of intuition, we each have within us a masculine and feminine part. But is our feminine part just like these women? Is it covered up? Have we put it under cover in some way because it maybe didn't serve us or in the society we're in? So this class is about opening to that. Music can again be flowing and soft and feminine, or staccato and loud and masculine. I always think of Bob Marley. His music's kind of, don't worry, be happy. It's kind of more feminine, He's a guy, but he's singing in a more feminine genre or way. And then art is again masculine or feminine. So we have within us that perfect balance, and that's that yin yang that you're seeing there. So part of your homework is to determine your own masculine and feminine balance within yourself. And one of the ways that you do that is you look in your closet. You just with an open mind, just go to your closet, open the doors. Look, what colors do you have? Do you have bright pinks? Do you have all black? Do you have all white? What do you have in your closet? Is it colorful? Is it pastel? What are the colors? And what are the styles? Sort of the soft flowing styles are much more feminine. The polyester suits are much more masculine. So just think about what are the clothes that are in there, because that's going to help you determine which energy you perhaps run more of in yourself. Many women wear lots of pants. They're not really into the more feminine styles. And again, you can be a man and run more feminine energy through your system. You can be a woman and run more masculine energy through your system. So it's not about how you look. It's about the energy that you run through you. But oftentimes, if we look at our homes, we get an indication of if we run more masculine or feminine energy. If your bedroom is set up, like an office, that's more masculine energy with the computer and the keyboard and the file cabinet and things of that nature. If your bedroom's set up with a soft, flowy, bedspread and cover, that's more feminine. So just look at your home with an objective eye and see, because that's going to help you in terms of integrating in yourself so that you can be a better psychic. If you have more masculine energy, then you may need to work at opening up the softer parts of yourself, that receiving, being able to really relax and not push the flow and feel your heart and feel the information that's coming instead of rushing it or pushing it or trying to make it happen. If you have more of the feminine energy where you're already very soft and open and flowing, these are the people that are kind of late for work. They're kind of late for work because they're not really watching time. They're not in that time frame. It's a very difficult, that's a left linear. Time is linear. They're late for work, not always, but sometimes. They tend to go over, on projects. They have a different sense of of time and of space. And so these are the people that sometimes they get a tremendous amount of information, feelings and impressions, but what happens is they're not able to put it into words. They're not able to communicate it. They're not able to give it as a message of something useful. So they feel a tremendous amount of energy, but they're almost overwhelmed by the energy. These are the people that are sort of what I call psychic sponges. They go out in the world and they pick up what everybody else is feeling because they're very open and very receptive. And they're just feeling everything, but they don't have any sort of filter up about taking care of themselves and being in their own space and communicating and being able to clear that energy out. So neither one is better than the other. They're both fine, but what we want to do is we want to get so that we're open. We can receive information. We can feel what's happening in other people's hearts. And we can transmit. So we're either going to be doing like healing with our hands or speaking or writing or transmitting in some way so that these are both open. Another way that you can check if you're more masculine or feminine, just look at your bookshelf. And I know a lot of people have Kindles now, but still, if you have a bookshelf, go to your bookshelf and just see, do you have nonfiction books? Or do you have fantasies? Do you have romantic comedies? What do you have on your shelf? What kind of books do you read? This is going to give you an indication. If you have all nonfiction, you're probably more masculine dominant in your brain, and that's okay. And if you have more kind of the fantasies, the gardening, picture books, things of that nature, with you have a pictorial essay of Maui, that's much more feminine. That's much more right brain. So take a look. And also you can look at what kind of car you drive. People who drive trucks, of course, that's obviously more masculine energy. People who drive like a little, think about a little Volkswagen Bug. It kind of just makes you think of for me, it kind of makes me think of a little grandma driving her little bug, that kind of feeling. Sorry if you have one and you're young. They're cool too. They can be cool with convertibles, I guess. But anyway, so look at your car and just see. So when we're processing information, again, symbols, everything that comes as symbols is right brain. And everything that's names and dates and specifics is left brain. So if you're somebody who gets a feeling, you have information, you feel it, but you can't get the specifics, that's where we're going to work with the left brain more. And if you're getting lots of symbols and you want to interpret the symbols, that's also a left brain development. The pictures is the right brain. So people who have difficulty with pictures are usually, they're usually people who process a lot through the left brain. They are very thinking. They may have jobs like an accountant, or they may be a dispatcher, a telephone dispatcher, where they're talking and processing a lot of information, things of that nature. Specific details, again, is left, and feelings are right. So again, neither is better or worse, but we want to get them integrated so that we can receive information. In our society, we're not taught, again, that feelings are important. Feelings are important because that's where intuition comes through your feeling center. Some psychics won't teach that. They'll teach more from working with symbols and getting better and better and better at the symbols. I teach working with your feelings because I believe that that's using more of our brain. That's expanding our brains out. And also gut feelings, those deep intuitive feelings. Look at all these feelings. Let's look at the chart. I know it's kind of small, and you might have to get your glasses on to see it. So which face are you feeling right now? And just look at it and see. Okay. So we want to get more in touch with our feelings. And when you have more time, go back to this chart, enlarge it so you can see it better, and really think about the different feelings that you have. And if you were brought up in one of those homes where feelings weren't okay, you may not have a big repertoire of feelings. You're either just mad or nothing, and you might need to develop some of these feelings so that you can be a better psychic. So right now we're just going to do a little exercise. I would like you to close your eyes and sit up straight. And we see that big percentage sign. I want you to now just check inside. And I want you to see in terms of percentages. So 100% of yourself. And there's the masculine and the feminine. I want you to put a big M and a big F. M for masculine and F for feminine. And I want you to just ask your divine higher self to show you in terms of your own internal balance how much of your energy is either masculine or feminine. And you might be surprised because this is how much energy you're running through your system. This is how much you're thinking in a masculine or feminine, how much you're moving and acting in a masculine, feminine, how much you have in your environment in a masculine and feminine. So go ahead and put both those up, M and F, masculine and feminine, and let your divine higher self fill in the numbers. Okay, did you get it? You might have been surprised. I was a little surprised. I actually came up 65% masculine and 35% feminine. Even though I'm in a feminine body, I guess I tend to do a lot of processing kinds of things. So, oh, great. So we're getting some response here. So there's one individual, a man, who said he gets 80% feminine. So see, it doesn't matter if you are in a male body or female body, we both run both of these energies through us. So what we want to do, the ideal is to get so that we're more in the middle with our energy for the channeling and intuitive work so that we can both receive the information and put the information out. So what I would say to the gentleman who's got 80% is to know that the area that he's going to have to work on is in transmitting the information, bringing the information in and transmitting it out. So we're going to do a guided meditation. And this guided meditation, I need for you to have your paper. You should have your pad of paper handy and your pen, because we're going to be getting some information from our divine higher self here. So get those ready. I'm going to turn on some music. Whoops. All right. Are you all comfortable? I'm comfortable. So just let yourself listen to the sound of my voice and allow everything else that's going on around you to just move into the background. You know how they have foreground and background? Everything else is moving into the background. And just my voice is now moving into the foreground of your consciousness. So for right now, what I'd like you to do is to take a deep breath in, all the way down to the bottom of your belly. And then exhale. And feel the letting go in your body. This feeling of breathing in peace and breathing out any tightness. Another deep breath when you're ready. And exhaling. One more deep breath, breathing in peace. And exhaling any tightness in the body. So this is a guided meditation. We're going to be traveling within to a special realm inside. We're going to ask right now for your higher self to be here with us, guiding and leading you on this inner journey. We now call on any ascended master teachers, saints, invisible helpers to join us in this journey of discovery, of self-discovery. of helping you to open to be the very best psychic and channel that you can be, and intuitive. So we know that within our hearts there is a place of all love and all presence. We also know that we have in our consciousness sometimes some lessons or messages that have been received at an earlier time, either through childhood or as we're growing up in our 20s, 30s, 40s, about our energy and about our masculinity and femininity. So we're just going to journey inside and do a meditation to clear any blockages and to open to having the healthiest, happy relationship with our divine higher self. So some of us had really happy childhoods and we had good relationships with our mothers and our fathers. And it's easier for us, if you've had those types of relationships, for those individuals to envision a beloved mother, father, God who's infinite love and infinite wisdom and light and support and blessing. But for those of you who maybe had a difficult childhood or were challenged in some way with the bonding between you and your mother or your father, there may be a part of you that's not trusting the infinite all in terms of receiving information, if you had a difficult relationship with your mother, or transmitting information, if you had either an absent relationship with your father or a non-effective relationship with father, or a difficult relationship with father. It may be difficult for you to speak when you get information, to speak it out in the world, to be loud, to be seen, to be noticed. So the purpose of this meditation is to look at some of that and to clear it. So what I'd like you to do is go in your heart. Picture a beautiful magenta color there, nice and bright. This is a magical ball of light. And just envision yourself jumping into that ball of light, the magenta light in your heart. And once you jump inside that light, you're in a very safe place. You are protected and all is well. This special magical ball of magenta light, which is radiating with love, is going to carry you to a beautiful castle. So just allow it to carry you to a castle similar to the one that I have in the picture, where you're coming across a field and the ball is going to set down in front of the castle, right in front of the door. So see in your mind's eye a beautiful castle. And everybody's castle will look a little bit different, and that's okay, because your higher self is gifting you with a picture of the very best castle for you. So see the castle, and you're standing at the bottom of a set of stairs that goes up to the front door of this castle. And I'd like you to start walking up these stairs and get to the front door. And then knock on the door. And the door will open. And answering the door is a very majestic being who has come to be your guide in this meditation. They reach out their hand to you and they say, "Come." Come with me. And you feel a sense of trust. And you enter into the castle, and it's a very bright and beautiful castle. And it feels very warm and loving and safe. And there's a long hallway, and this guide is leading you down the hallway, kind of similar to how a butler would lead somebody that comes to the door. And you know it is in your highest and best interest to follow them. So they bring you down a long, ornate hallway. And then you turn right. You go down another hallway. And then there's a doorway there. You enter the doorway. And in front of you, you see a very large room. This is the throne room. And at the far side of the throne room, you see stairs going up to 2 thrones. So just let the guide bring you over to the bottom of the stairs. Look around in this throne room. See the regalness of it, the splendor. Now looking up, there's 2 thrones there, and at the top, it's one large staircase, but at the top of the staircase, where these thrones are seated, there is a king and a queen sitting in their thrones. And you see the king, and he lifts his hand, and he beckons for you to come. So you start walking up the stairs, but an interesting thing happens as you begin ascending the staircase up to the throne. You feel your body getting younger and younger and smaller and smaller. With each step that you take up the stairs, your body's diminishing in size. And you're feeling yourself getting younger. And you're feeling a sense of getting into that place of more innocence and trust and openness and receptivity. You feel your left linear mind just falling aside, and you're moving into your heart. And when you get to the top of the stairs, your body's only about the size of a 5-year-old, and your consciousness is right in that place of a 5-year-old who's open and trusting with big eyes and a big smile. And this king that is sitting in front of you reaches out both of his hands and he says, "Come here, my child, sit with me." And you can't believe that this most regal king is inviting you to sit up there on his beautiful throne with all of the jewels in this very large ornate room. So you scramble up to him and he lifts you up and you sit down on this king's throne. And he says, "My child, it's good to see you. Thank you for coming to visit me." And you feel the love that's there in his heart for you. And he says to you, "My child, I am here to let you know that you are always protected and you are always safe. I am here to help you to learn those things in life that will bring you the most success. I am here to help you, to teach you about those masculine kinds of energetic things, skills and abilities, the nuts and bolts of life, so that you can be successful in whatever endeavors you wish to undertake. I am here to guard you, to guide you, to mentor you. I am your divine higher self's most expanded, healthy, masculine part. I am the warrior. I am the wise one. I am the mentor. And as you sit there in your little 5-year-old body, you feel how safe it feels to be with this incarnation of the divine masculine. There's a feeling of being protected from life and from the world. There's a sense of being able to know that whatever you need will be provided. Your needs will be met. You will be taken care of. Feel your little body relaxing and letting your head rest into the arms and the chest of this divine masculine being. Allow any thoughts or feelings that you may have had from your family of origin in this lifetime to simply fade away if they were less than the perfection of this moment in the arms of the divine masculine. So if you had a father that wasn't there, or maybe was there and was angry, or wasn't emotionally available, or wasn't what you needed, right now in this moment, let that go and allow yourself to be healed and whole, and allow your relationship with the divine masculine aspect of God, or the universe, or spirit, or your divine higher self, to hold you, to lift you, to protect you, to provide for you. And now this king reaches into his big pocket and he takes out a coin, and it's a golden coin, and he hands it to you and he says, "This is your lucky coin. This is your coin of abundance. This is your coin of magic. This is your coin of being able to make things happen. This is your coin. You can hold it whenever you need to feel my strength. You will have this coin." Look down at the coin and see what the picture is that's on it. See if there's an inscription. Smile up at him and say thank you. And now he says, "Okay, my child, it's time for you to go. Your divine mother is waiting for you. She has been most patient." And you kind of reluctantly, because you love the feeling of sitting in his lap with the safety and security, you climb down. You smile a goodbye. And then you walk over to the other throne, the Divine Mother's throne, where she is sitting, the Queen is sitting in her throne. And notice the difference in the throne, what it looks like. Any decorations or jewels. And your Divine Mother is sitting there. And she's just beaming love at you. You can see the twinkle in her eyes. And you see her smile. And she reaches out her hands. And you climb up into her lap and feel the difference of the Divine Mother's lap with the smaller bones, smaller structure. And she starts humming to you and singing a little song and rocking you. And it feels so good to be held in your Divine Mother's arms. And she's humming and she's singing. And you feel your little 5-year-old body relaxing and getting soft. And she's humming and singing some more. And the song makes you feel so good. You can feel the vibration of the song going through your whole body, soothing you, softening you, opening you, until you start humming with her, and your hum and her hum join together, your little voice and her nice strong singing. and you feel at one with her. It feels as though there's no separation, that you are one. You feel completely loved on every level, unconditionally. She holds your hand and she kisses each little finger, and it tickles a little and you smile. And you feel her love, and you allow it to come into your heart. And you feel where any places in yourself from this lifetime where you may have issues with your mother, that those are being released and healed. And you feel this divine incarnation of the Divine Mother transmuting any and all negativity of any understanding of the Divine Feminine that you have that is less than whole. You feel how valuable this Divine Feminine energy and love is. You feel your heart opening and your intuition opening. And it feels as though your whole body is vibrating and alive. And now the Divine Mother, she places her hand on your chest. And she's rocking you back and forth, loving you, holding you. And you allow that love into your body. You feel safe and at peace. And she says to you, you know, my child, there's nothing you could ever say or do that would put you out of my heart. I love you forever and ever and ever and for eternity. I love all of you. I cherish you. And with these words, you open and relax even more. And you feel a part of your brain that may have been a little dormant coming to life. That is the part of yourself that trusts, that feels. That is the part of yourself that sees symbols and pictures and colors and hears music and frequencies of light and love. And she assures you, my child, you are a gift. Just be yourself, open to who you really are. Open. Let the light through, let the love through. And your little body feels like it's just expanding in light and love. You feel so good and so safe and so taken care of. And she gives you a cookie. And it's one of your favorite kinds of cookies. And she says, I have filled this cookie with love. Eat this cookie and know my love. And whenever you feel you need to be reminded of my love, picture one of these cookies, taking a bite out of it. And it will fill you with the sweetness of my love for you and of how wonderful you are. And you smile to receive such a magical cookie. And you go ahead and eat it. And you feel her love in every bite. And then she says, now my child, it is time for you to go. You give her a big squeeze and she gives you a big hug. And she whispers in your ear, I love you for always and forever. You take her love with you. You climb down, and now you're going to go down that large flight of stairs. Turn back one time to see the king and the queen, and look at their love for you in their eyes. Look how proud they are of you, being on earth in a physical body on this journey. See how they have confidence in you, in your ability, in who you are. Now go ahead and start descending the staircase back down to the main floor of the throne room. And with each step that you take, feel your body getting bigger again, back into your adult body. And as you get back into your adult body, you feel your adult mind reawakening and kicking in. But inside, there's a sparkle and a smile because your inner child has just reconnected with their divine, masculine, and feminine higher self. For that king and queen is yourself. You are them and they are you. Now the guide is at the bottom of the stairs and he's going to escort you down the hallway. Walk tall and proud, integrated and strong. Back through the other door, back down that hallway, all the way to the doorway of the castle. Look around you one more time and see all the decorations, the lighting, what it feels like to be in the castle of the kingdom of your divine higher self. You are worthy. You are capable. You are lovable. And now he opens the door and you head outside. And as you leave, you remember you are sovereign. You have reclaimed your sovereign being. And you're taking that forth into your life with an awakened consciousness, knowing that you are loved and safe and protected and provided for, and that your intuitive abilities can now be fully activated because you are in a place of integration and strength. And there's that magenta ball of light in the field. Just let yourself run towards it, dive into it, and allow it to lift you up and carry you back across the field and back into this time and this space. Once again, hearing my voice. Once again, feeling your body sitting in the chair or if you're sitting on a pillow on the floor. Coming back into presence, back into this moment. Feeling awake, alive, and alert. Integrated and whole. Now I'd like you to just rub your feet on the floor and feel your feet and tap your legs and tap your body all the way up. Tapping your head and feeling presence. And come completely back right here, right now. All right, so that meditation is a meditation to help you in feeling the oneness of yourself. So now that we have rewired your brain and cleared away any energies from childhood that may have been in the way of you receiving information, you will be able to access more information and more feelings and more intuition. So please feel free to go back to this meditation whenever you need. Now we're going to be looking at a few more things about the left and right brain processing. So I want to ask you, are these left or right brain processing, the intellectual knowledge, studying a book? Left. Scientific? Left. Visionary. Visionary is actually right. Right brain is those pictures and that expansiveness. That's where we go in meditation to get visions. Humanitarian, that's also right. There's a oneness there. If you could think of the difference between separation, left linear, and oneness, unity, right. That's the difference. It's individual consciousness, global consciousness. The personal, that's left. The left, the personal is about limitations and thoughts. Philosophical, That's actually philosophical. It's both a blend of left and right. It's left in thinking, but it's also using the visions. So that's kind of an integration. Practical, that can be left and right as well. Generally more left when you're thinking of practical kinds of things. And artistic is, of course, right. So we're going to be looking at in terms of the connecting of these two. So when you look at this picture, see that the V in the middle? That's that doorway in between that connects them. That's where the information flows. So we want you to practice with that figure 8. And I would like for you to do opening to channel page 100. And for those who have a Kindle, you're going to be looking up the skills and talents, the hidden beliefs and old programming, your relationship with money, and the path of the soul since your first incarnation. These are questions that I would like for you before our next class to take the time and to review. Again, if you are practicing channeling, and on my website I have that guided meditation. I would like you each to be going to that guided meditation, the 29 or 30-minute meditation, and actually practicing channeling. Remember, before you channel or do that psychic work, you want to start with that prayer of protection. I'm going to say it for you now so you can review it. Beloved Mother, Father, God, Infinite Spirit, we come to you in love. We ask to be filled, surrounded, and protected by the light of the Holy Spirit. We ask to lift beyond earth into areas of absolute truth. We ask that that which is most needed by these souls be brought forth in this time. I ask to be a clear channel for God's love, light, truth, healing, and blessing. So remember the 4 components that we went over in the prayer of protection, and you need to be writing your own prayer or memorizing a prayer before you do this work. I have here a picture of some digital recorders because it's a good idea, if you can, to record the questions on one of the recorders and then put a long pause in between. And then you would turn the other recorder on, and you can use your iPhone for this as well, and record the answers. The reason I'm suggesting recording the answers is so you can go as deeply inside as possible and you won't be distracted. So I had mentioned about general ideas can be received easier than specific details, and that's working with the right brain. But if you keep practicing, you will get more attuned and focused. Your left brain will be able to get sharpened, just like a pencil gets sharpened. Your left brain will be more trained to discern that information. And again, most psychic messages come as pictures first, and then the words follow. So be open to having, when you're receiving messages, they may be very subtle and very soft. It may not seem like a big band or orchestra coming in, but that's the energy. It will be soft, and you will, as you get tuned in, it'll be more defined. In your journaling this week, I want you to keep a list of questions that you would like answered, either through one of the exercises or at the beginning of the class. And you should be journaling your dreams. You should be journaling your meditations, writing down the messages, and any questions that you would have for me. So for homework, I want to remind you that you are to walk every day if you're able, and if you're not, to practice the grounding exercise. Along with the grounding exercise, that other infinity loop where you start with the figure 8 in the heart and you go up and connect with infinite love, bring it down into your heart, and then back down to the center of the earth and back up. And meditate every day. We did practice a couple of forms of meditation. We did the alternate nostril breathing. Remember, in through the left, 10, hold 10, out 10 to the right, in from the right, 10, hold, out left. That's 1 round, and you do 10 rounds. You can also do the candle gazing that we gave as a meditation. I want to suggest for you this week for your meditation, I want to give you a mantra. A mantra is words that you say repeatedly, and you just keep focusing on it. And you can use a mala, or you can use a rosary bead, or you can use even just your fingers. And whenever I'm counting in meditation, I would go, I'll just show you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then back 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that would be 10, and then I would start over again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then that would be 20. And I would, with my other hand, I would keep track of 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 until you get up. So that way when you're meditating, you're actually focusing. So for example, it would be let's say that your mantra that you're going to be using this week is, how about Om Ram, Om Ram. So it would be Om Ram, Om Ram, Om Ram, Om Ram, Om Ram. So that's 5, and I would do that twice for 10, and then I would put up one finger for the 10. And what I want you to do to develop your focus, this is going to help you in getting that psychic information. When you train your mind, get that monkey mind that's used to jumping, 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 getting it to come back to really focus in on one thing. I know you're saying, but that's more than one thing, Leah. I'm having to count, and I'm having to speak, and I'm having to breathe. You will be able to do it. That's what we're doing. We're actually learning through doing that, doing the left and the right brain at the same time. It takes practice. You can do it. So I would like you to practice that meditation as well. And again, the reminder about the channeling meditation on the website. So just a little summary of today's class. We did review the homework and answered some questions. If you have any questions now that you want to ask me live, you could type them in the chat box. And remember, you're going to be clicking the where it says send to, you will click to presenter only Liah Howard. So in this picture, I love this picture. You can see art is really big on the right brain and logical is very big on the left brain. And we did discuss the importance of being balanced with the left and the right brain. And we did a guided meditation for synchronizing and integrating both parts of the brain. That was meeting the divine masculine and meeting the divine feminine. And just from doing that exercise, just by allowing yourself to receive the energy of the divine masculine and the divine feminine, already your higher self is now balancing and bringing into your body that integration and that synchronization. You're synchronizing. So if you have participated in all 5 classes, I want to say congratulations. You do have a lot of homework to do, reading and exercises. Each class has had a number of exercises to do, and you can always go back and review those as well. Next week, we are going to be looking at the chakras. There was a DVD that I mentioned. If there's any way that you can get that DVD, I highly suggest doing it. That DVD, and it's Illuminated Chakras is the name of it. Illuminated Chakras. That DVD is phenomenal, and that will give you a head start on looking at the chakras. We're going to be doing chakra balancing and clearing and cord cutting. But keeping in mind this week that you're also looking in your closet and you're looking at, are you more masculine or feminine? And whenever you notice yourself responding more from that dominant way, take a breath, take a step back, and see if you can respond in a different way. So if you're one of those people that are more masculine dominant and somebody tells you something and you're quickly trying to solve the problem, go into a more receptive, open listening place. And if you're somebody who's more feeling almost overwhelmed when somebody tells you a problem and you're just feeling all the energy with it, go into a more left linear place. And if you're more right brain, be more aware of time. If you're more left brain, take your watch off. Seriously, this is such a good exercise. If you're really left brain dominant, take off your watch and shut down your cell phone, for a couple hours so you're used to not connecting with it. That is a left brain dominant activity. And when you do that, you move more into the present time, and it will make a difference in your ability as an intuitive and a psychic. And that completes our class for today. Let's just see if we have anything. Somebody's just commenting on the meditation. If the count to 10 is too high when you do the alternate nostril, you can start with 5. That's fine. So it would look like this. In through the left. That's 5. Hold for 5. Exhale through the right. And then in through the right. Hold for 5. Exhale through the left. And that would be 1 round. So, yeah, so you can do that. And so I have a question here. It says, does masculine and feminine indicate opposite gender in another lifetime? That's a great question. Thank you for mentioning that. I said in another class, the class that we did on integrating the past lives and future lives, that we've each had, let's just say we've each had 700 lives. I'm sure a number of them were masculine and a number of them were feminine. Sometimes we're kind of in the middle. So if there's a bell curve where we had this many lifetimes completely masculine, this many lifetimes completely feminine, we have a number of lifetimes where we may actually sort of be in the middle, or we may have been in other dimensions where we didn't take on masculine or feminine. We may have been a galactic being that doesn't really associate, we so often just think of our sexuality male, female, but in the galactic realms, that is not the case. From what I understand, from what has been communicated to me, they're not associating in that way. Sort of just how in nature we have the seahorses who give birth to the babies, right? They're male daddies. So they would question females giving birth. So we sort of have that bias, our personal earth bias. But indeed, if you've had more lifetimes, more incarnations in the masculine realm, you may tend to be more left linear logical. And if you have had more incarnations in the feminine realm, you may tend to be much more flowing and soft and intuitive. So in this lifetime, it doesn't really matter how many masculine or how many feminine lifetimes you've had, because as you can see with each person, and there may be different times in your life where you have more masculine. When you're really working on your career and getting that going, that may be more of that energy. And when you're doing child care, taking care of your children, nursing, giving birth, you may be more in the feminine mode. So it will shift. Sometimes when people hit retirement age, they go more into their feminine self, their creative self. All of a sudden, some of these artistic abilities open up. I have a friend who is an artist, an amazing artist. She didn't even start painting until she was 60. That's when she started, and now she's selling her artwork all around the world, because she's in Maui and there's a place where people come. It's called the Banyan Tree, and people come and they buy artwork there and take it back with them all around the world. And she never did a lick of art. She was a therapist. She worked as a therapist, which is, it's left brain. Part of it is also right brain, because you're doing the emotional work as well. So it's a balancing and it's an integration, and certainly just to be aware really just helps in that accessing the information. So again, with your psychic work and doing that channeling exercise, let yourself come into that very, very open place, that very, very soft, receptive place. And then work with the writing the messages or speaking them. If you haven't practiced working with someone else yet, after class 5, I highly recommend that you find a practice buddy, a friend that you can sit with, that you can actually practice receiving messages for. It's much easier to give messages for other people. And at this point, that would be an excellent practice for you to undertake. So perhaps your wife or husband or friend or neighbor or girlfriend or boyfriend would be willing to sit with you and let you just practice receiving information and then transmitting it out. Because remember, it's receiving and transmitting. And some of it's just about confidence. And really the best way you're going to get better at anything is by practicing. So I want to encourage you to get with a partner, get with a friend. If you're in a place of the world where you really don't have that, then work with a tape recorder. But at this point, it would be beneficial for you to actually practice that channeling exercise, getting into that deep state of relaxation and connection, and then working with your guide, with your prayer, and doing messages for other people. Okay, I want to thank you all so much for being here today, and we'll be doing next week the chakras. That will be a fun exercise and class. And in Maui, we say ahui ho. Have a beautiful day. Thank you.